Forward. The conclusion of the 20th century provides Baha'is with a unique vantage point. During the past 100 years, our world underwent changes far more profound than any in its preceding history, changes that are, for the most part, little understood by the present generation. These same 100 years saw the Baha'i cause emerge from obscurity, demonstrating on a global scale the unifying power with which its divine origin has endowed it. As the century drew to its close, the convergence of these two historical developments became increasingly apparent. Century of Light, prepared under our supervision, reviews these two processes and the relationship between them in the context of the Baha'i teachings. We commend it to the thoughtful study of the Friends in the confidence that the perspectives it opens up will prove both spiritually enriching and of practical value in sharing with others the challenging implications of the revelation brought by Baha'u'llah. The Universal House of Justice, Nowruz 158 BE. Century of Light. The 20th century, the most turbulent in the history of the human race, has reached its end. Dismayed by the deepening moral and social chaos that marked its course, the generality of the world's peoples are eager to leave behind them the memories of the suffering that these decades brought with them. No matter how frail the foundations of confidence in the future may seem, no matter how great the dangers looming on the horizon, humanity appears desperate to believe that, through some fortuitous conjunction of circumstances, it will nevertheless be possible to bend the conditions of human life into conformity with prevailing human desires. In the light of the teachings of Baha'u'llah, such hopes are not merely illusory, but miss entirely the nature and meaning of the great turning point through which our world has passed in these crucial 100 years. Only as humanity comes to understand the implications of what occurred during this period of history will it be able to meet the challenges that lie ahead. The value of the contribution we as Baha'is can make to the process demands that we ourselves grasp the significance of the historic transformation wrought by the 20th century. What makes this insight possible for us is the light shed by the rising sun of Baha'u'llah's revelation and the influence it has come to exercise in human affairs. It is this opportunity that the following pages address. Page 1. Chapter or Section 1. Let us acknowledge at the outset the magnitude of the ruin that the human race has brought upon itself during the period of history under review. The loss of life alone has been beyond counting. The disintegration of basic institutions of social order, the violation, abandonment of standards of decency, the betrayal of the life of the mind through surrender to ideologies as squalid as they have been empty, the invention and deployment of monstrous weapons of mass annihilation, the bankrupting of entire nations and the reduction of masses of human beings to hopeless poverty, the reckless destruction of the environment of the planet. Such are only the most obvious in a catalogue of horrors unknown to even the darkest of ages past. Merely to mention them is to call to mind the divine warnings expressed in Baha'u'llah's words of a century ago. Quote, "O heedless ones, though the wonders of my mercy have encompassed all created things, both visible and invisible, and though the revelations of my grace and bounty have permeated every atom of the universe, yet the rod with which I can chastise the wicked is grievous, and the fierceness of mine anger against them terrible." End quote. Footnote: Shoghi Effendi, Advent of Divine Justice, Wilmette, Baha'i Publishing Trust, 1990, page 81. End footnote. Lest any observer of the cause be tempted to misunderstand such warnings as only metaphorical, Shoghi Effendi, drawing on the historical implications, wrote in 1941, page 2, "A tempest unprecedented in its violence, unpredictable in its course, catastrophic in its immediate effects, unimaginably glorious in its ultimate consequences, is at present sweeping the face of the earth. Its driving power is remorselessly gaining in range and momentum. Its cleansing force, however much undetected, is increasing with every passing day. Humanity, gripped in the clutches of its devastating power, is smitten by the evidences of its resistless fury. It can neither perceive its origin, nor probe its significance, nor discern its outcome. Bewildered, agonized, and helpless, it watches this great and mighty wind of God invading the remotest and fairest regions of the earth, rocking its foundations, deranging its equilibrium, sundering its nations, disrupting the homes of its peoples, wasting its cities, driving into exile its kings, pulling down its bulwarks, uprooting its institutions, dimming its light, and harrowing up the souls of its inhabitants. Footnote: Shoghi Effendi, The Promised Day Has Come, Wilmette Publishing, Baha'i Publishing Trust, 1996, page 1. End footnote.